Hi, I thought it would be time to talk a little bit about managing the internet with kids and young people. And I do have an online course called Taming Tech that should be up on the Anna Cohen and Co website. But some of the information I want to share with you is a little bit different to what's in that course. And I always acknowledge that if a global pandemic has taught us parents anything, it's that we need to adjust our expectations of ourselves and our kids in response to circumstances and give ourselves some grace. So I gently encourage you to use this as an anchor point for what I'm going to talk about in this short video, but also some of the others that are going to follow on technology and kids, including cyberbullying and how to support kids making safe choices around the internet. And I really want to have this as a conversation that will allow you to reflect on and think more about the use of screens in your family. I really think we as parents have to just adjust the amount of expectation and the amount of time spent on screens by all family members based on what's important and what's important to you. And there's a huge slice of grace I want to offer parents who raise their kids without a great deal of support, whether that be a single or sole parent or those whose partner, for whatever reason, doesn't take part in the labour of raising kids. In families like this, sometimes the reality is that televisions and screens are an affordable babysitter. And that it is necessary for them. And if that's you, I just encourage you to find a balance to meet your needs whilst nurturing that of your child's development. For me, I believe that screens can be really helpful and beneficial for all of us when used appropriately. And screen time, when used well, can help further relaxation, joy, education, play, communication, and for us parents of little people, getting our tasks done, or even affording ourselves a bit of a rest. Kids do need a break from us parents, and screens can offer escape into imagination and some appropriate self-care time. Of course, screens shouldn't be seen as a replacement for parent-child interaction or play, and they offer a very different kind of engagement. Part of finding the ideal balance is ensuring you prioritise one-on-one time and group playtime, regardless of whether your child is engaged with the screen or not on any given day. And I mean playtime even for our teenagers, just quality time. Every family's different. Some families bond beautifully over playing video games. And if that's you, that's great. Just make sure it doesn't happen at the expense of screen-free playtime. Remember my rule of thumb. For every hour of screen time, we need an hour or two of green time. So we're going to hopefully help you to build some of your toolkit when it comes to managing the internet with kids and young people. Remembering kids and teens have such a ferocious appetite for information, communication and entertainment. And in the face of our children's peers being given seemingly unrestricted access to technology, it can feel really confusing trying to navigate the murky waters of appropriate or acceptable screen use. Our young people are so hungry for information about how the world works and for ever deepening personal discovery that they'll often fight, manipulate and even lie to get greater screen access if we attempt to limit it. So there's no single rule to monitoring screen time or setting limits around its use. I've done huge literature searches on this, but there really is no universal finding yet. It will come, but we don't have that now. So the best guide for establishing a healthy balance is to set very clear expectations and to adjust our level of involvement to benefit the individual needs of our young people. So for example, high parental involvement and clear boundaries will be really, really crucial for a very precocious 14-year-old, say, with an enormous appetite for socialising, who is constantly communicating. On the other hand, less vigilance is needed with an older adolescent who shows good judgment in their lives and is aware of the ups and downs of technology and is able to maintain a good balance between technology use and family relationships. And of course, for our little people, our younger kids, that they need more input from us. Young people are so skilled at navigating the internet and generally outstrip their parents. Well, certainly my young people outstrip me in terms of their technology use, but it doesn't mean they're skillful at discerning the difference between screen use and screen use in a way that serves their well-being and that which is damaging for them. There's so much content on the web, and internet use needs to be something we talk about regularly with our young people and to be managed carefully. So I talk a lot with families of the tweens and the teens about some strategies for maximising their internet safety. I think parents of younger people are much better at moving in and sitting with kids and doing stuff with them. But for our teens and our tweens, when they want to move away from us, there's some nice ideas that I would like to share with you. So always try and claim the occasional teaching moment and stay brief and succinct about what you want to discuss. You want to communicate expectations regularly. So remember, our adolescents' behaviour won't always meet your expectations, but you can ensure that they know what your wishes are and will feel uncomfortable about crossing your boundaries. I always say ask young people in a curious rather than an accusatory tone. And it might just be about how they know a website's information is reliable, ChatGPT, for instance, or whatever it might be. And if they're unsure, suggest they speak to a teacher at school that they trust to figure this stuff out. Disturbing content is big. You know, our tweens and our younger people find it really scary, and adolescents are often well aware that disturbing, inappropriate sexual or pornographic content may appear without them necessarily searching for it, and that can be upsetting content. So I always like to have open conversations with young people about that and ask them, well, what do you do when that happens? And be really clear on your expectation that your teen and tween avoids looking at unpleasant or inappropriate internet sites. And if they suddenly find themselves in one, just to come out of that site. If you're really clear, then it avoids the grey areas, and you're establishing those ground rules because you have a mutually respectful, loving and open communication with them. And if you've got that, then they're less likely to step across your boundaries, remembering that all young people are going to be difficult and hard work sometimes. Talk about password protection with them, raise their awareness that the more visible and active they are online, the greater opportunity that they will be to attract attention from hackers. And it's important that you respect their online privacy. You can ask that they write all their accounts and passwords down on a piece of paper and give it to you in a sealed envelope for you to only access in case of an emergency. I'm not in support of going through young people's phones or internet accounts unless there's a real safety issue. When we consider tech choices and boundaries you want to make for your kids, I recommend you start by changing nothing and just observing for a week or so what kinds of screen time, what shows, what activities seem to leave them refreshed, inspired, relaxed and happy, and what leave them in a less than ideal mood. Consider their screen use in the context of their overall health and well-being, and notice if their online time is getting in the way of their sleep and exercise. Is it impacting their face-to-face connections with family and friends? The answers to these questions will guide you and help you strike the right balance of on-screen and off-screen activities for them. You can simply ask yourself these questions. Does family screen time feel like it's well moderated? Does screen use interfere with what your family wants to do? Does it lead to arguments? Does it interfere with sleep? Are your young people able to snack in a healthy way during screen use? Trust your observations and begin to form a plan based on them. Remember, it can be easy to focus on the clock, but the nature and quality of what they're doing online and your involvement are just as important. And be patient. You know, take as long as you need to formulate your thoughts. finding your choice, finding choices that fit for you before you make any big changes. Because it's really important to feel really clear and confident in your resolve when you share a new screen time plan with your kids if you're wanting to change things. I do know as a parent that navigating internet use with young people can feel really confusing, particularly the idea of appropriate or acceptable screen use. And I hope you feel a little bit more equipped in this area after listening to what I've shared with you just now.